call to order. Meeting for today, Wednesday, August 6th, Equal Employment Opportunity Advisory Committee. I'd also like to open with a heavy heart. One of our committee members has passed away, Douglas Vigil. Very nice man. I had the opportunity to work with him on this committee. This would be the second year. He was appointed to the EEOAC in January 23. He maintained a vice chair position for a little while. He was a very strong advocate in his community for improving disabled access to local government. My understanding is he was a sign language teacher as well. He will be heartily missed on this committee, and we extend our condolences to his family and friends. Having said that, I would like Mr. Tyler to continue with the roll call, please.
Okay, I will begin roll call now. Dominic Biles. Here. Alwyn Brown. Present. Fritz, our department head representative, is absent. Miss Elaine Edmond. Present. And then Pataline Gruwal, our at-large representative, has withdrawn from the committee. Christina Jones. Present. Michael Sorensen.
Here.
And then from the HREEO unit, myself, Tyler Vernon. David Davis. Here. Constance Bibbs. Here. Rex Fergay. Here. Mikkel Mitchell. Here. And then Rachel Novetsky.
Here. And I would just like to remind everybody who has a microphone in front of them to make sure the green light is on so that we can pick it up on the recording. Thank you.
And that is the end of roll call. I will now move to Dominic for the approval of the minutes for August 6, 2025.
Thank you, Tyler.
Of course.
At this time, are there any questions or additions or corrections to the minutes, please? No corrections. Proceed. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to have them approved, please.
Second.
Motion second.
Michael, was that you who seconded? Thank you very much.
Motion passes.
Motion carries.
Oh, we have to vote. Oh, yes, right. Okay, can we vote, please, on that? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. At this time, can we ask the visitors in attendance to please introduce themselves?
We can start with the members in the room first, and then we can move to online.
My name is Maria Lassiter, and I'm with the Recorder County Clerk Office.
Layetta Finister from the HSA office. I'm an EEO coordinator.
Oriana Mahoney, Staff Development Coordinator, Human Resources.
Now we can move on to some online participants. I see Monique Meisenheimer in the audience, if you'd like to say hello.
Good morning, afternoon, Monique Meisenheimer, EEO coordinator from Human Services Agency.
Thank you. Richard Lott.
Good afternoon, Richard Lott, Human Services Agency.
Perfect, thank you. Teresa Harris.
Teresa Harris, I'm the EEO coordinator in the ACO.
Thank you very much, Teresa. Annette Rivas.
Annette Rivas, County Administrator's Office, EEO coordinator.
Thank you very much. Susanna Diaz Carbajal.
Hello, Susanna Diaz-Carbajal from Correctional Health Services. I'm currently sitting in for our EEO analyst, Katie Poole.
Thank you. Craig Pedrucci.
Hi, everyone. Craig Pedrucci, Human Services Agency.
Thank you, Craig. Josefina Alcantara.
Joy Alcantara, Public Health Services.
Thank you. Leora Pollock.
Hi, this is Leora Pollock. I'm from Behavioral Health Services, EEO Coordinator.
Thank you, Leora. And Terry Booth.
Hi, Terry Booth from the District Attorney's Office.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to move towards any public comment. For Dominic, you can take care of that. Dominic, you can move for a public comment if you would like to give the floor for that. My apologies.
At this time, I'd like to open for public comment, please.
No online public comment as far as I can see. I'll give a few more seconds in case anybody wants to say anything.
With no public comment, we would like to move on to the EEO program report update. That will be handled by Mr. Davis. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dominic. The following is my update report on the EEO program. This is for awareness purposes. As I'm giving the report, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and I will address you at that time. So based on our EEO plan, there's certain things that the EEO office and program are expected to do. So I'm going to report out on the activities of our office, the EEO office. Complaint monitoring is the first topic. Currently, we have 45 active formal complaints. Of those 45, 12 of them were fielded in the year 2025, and then we've also fielded 8 informal complaints during 2025. The additional complaints are ones that have been carried over from previous years. Currently, they are all being investigated either by staff members or external investigators. Just to give you guys a breakdown of the allegations, the percentages, the most allegations that we've gotten out of the 45 complaints is we've gotten 18 retaliation complaints, 14 race complaints, 12 age discrimination complaints, 10 sexual harassment complaints, 9 physical and mental disability complaints, 7 based on color, 5 based on gender, 4 based on national origin, 2 based on sexual orientation, and currently 1 based on religion. And just, sure.
Just before you go on, could you maybe just explain it a little bit between formal and informal complaint?
Definitely. So the way that our complaint process works at the county, we have 2 different phases of the complaint process. So when a complaint is brought to our attention, our first goal is to have it resolved at the informal level, and we would assign that complaint to EEO coordinator from the particular department that the complainant is coming from. And if it's against the coordinator, of course, we'll ask for another coordinator from a different department. And their role is really to just talk with the complainant, find out what it is they're looking for as far as resolution, and then also determine whether or not it meets Rule 20 requirements.
Can I just go back one step?
Sure.
So this would be a complaint that's filed with the EEO office or come up through a department?
It's through the EEO office.
Okay, got
so
it.
once we receive that, we will assign it to an EEO coordinator.
Got
And again, their job is not really to do the investigation, it's just to meet with the complainant, find out what it is that is happening, as well as what they're looking for in resolution. If they can resolve it at that level, great, that's what we're looking for. If not, then it gets referred back to the EEO office, and then that's when we will assign it to an EEO member to investigate or an external investigator. And once that's done, the investigators will do their job to investigate it fully. They'll provide a final report as well as an executive summary. The executive summary is basically what we send out to the complainant as well as a respondent at the end, letting them know what the findings were of the investigation.
Piggybacking on what he was asking, will we ever, as a committee here, find out the disposition? Obviously not like termination or something of that nature. But would we learn the disposition of these multiple cases?
The committee would not, because our current policy falls under civil service rules. Any appeal rights or additional avenues in which a complainant can pursue their complaint actually goes to our Civil Service Commission.
Thank you.
So that's how our complaint process works. I can give you the breakdown of the different departments where the complaints have come from. Our largest number comes from the hospital, San Joaquin General Hospital. We've gotten 11 complaints from them. Sheriff's Office, we've gotten 5. Public Defender's Office, we've gotten 4. Public Works, also 4. Community Development, 4. Probation, 3. District Attorney's Office, 3. HSA, 2. OME, 1. Behavioral Health, we've gotten 1 also. And then Public Health, we've gotten 1. Agriculture, we've gotten 1. And then WorkNet, EEDD, we've gotten 1. So that's a breakdown of where the complaints are coming from. And like I said, they're all currently assigned, so they're all being investigated. So when we report out, or when I report out to you next month, the numbers should be different.
Thank you.
Yes.
If the complainant has 2 different areas of their grounds of, complaint, for instance, if they have 2 different complaints, do you count that in 2 categories? For instance, if they said it was retaliation and against race,
Yeah.
would you count it twice?
It would count in 2 different areas, 2 different categories. So that's why these numbers don't equal 100, because certain complaints, like 3 or 4 allegations were made. And so each of those allegations are put into their own separate category. Does that answer your question?
Yes, so how many actual complainants are there?
45.
45 complainants?
Yes.
Okay. Complainants or complaints? So how many people?
Both complaints and complainants. So each complaint has 1 complainant.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Can I ask a follow-up too?
Sure.
So there's 45 active formal and 8 that are currently in the informal stages?
No, there are 8 that we've received. Most of the 8 have already moved to the formal stage.
Okay. So you had 12 from 2025, and then you said 8 informal from 2025, so I'm just
Yeah.
a little confused.
Okay, so we've gotten 8 informal complaints in 2025. Majority of those have been looked upon by an EEO coordinator, not been able to resolve them. They've now transitioned to formal. But there's 12 formal complaints that we've gotten, so it's 4 or 8 of those informals have moved to informal have moved to formal. Then we've gotten 4 others that have gone directly to formal.
Okay.
And that's usually because it depends on who they're complaining against or about. If they're complaining about an area head, we go straight to, or a department head, we go straight to the formal.
So one of the things I've been talking with our EEO program manager about is how we do the annual reporting kind of presentation to this committee for the recruitment. Remember how we did one that Employment Services came in and did a recruitment? So we were thinking about incorporating once a year, just a very general, broad overview to share with the committee members, the complaints and what we've received and such, so that you have that annually to get that report out in a different level of detail in which normally would happen during our regular bi-monthly meetings.
Another thing that we're being really cognizant of is that when the complaint comes in, we're giving it a thorough review amongst the staff to make certain that it actually meets the Rule 20 criteria, because even though it comes to us from the informal stage, it still may not meet the requirements. So we take a second look at it, and those that do not, we are rejecting those complaints. So the number would actually be higher if we had not rejected some of the complaints. So just to let you know that. Okay. The rule of EEOC members. So basically the mission of the EEOC, and again, I think this was a question that you had, Dominic, so hopefully this will answer your question. The role of the EEOAC is to partner with the county to make certain that we have a diverse and inclusive workforce that reflects the diverse community that we serve. So that's your role, and how that happens is that we develop an EEO plan every 2 years, hopefully with your input as well, and then we work to achieve what is in that EEO plan each year by working in conjunction with you all, as well as our EEO coordinators and anybody else who deems to be part of that chain. So it'd be our management officials. We would work with them as well. So the EEO plan speaks to the role of the members, and here's what your duties include: reviewing and providing recommendations on EEO programs, as well as EEO training and activities, assisting in distributing information to employees or the community concerning EEO activities, soliciting employee support to attend EEO activities, and assisting in promotion of EEO-related activities and events. Participating in those events, in those outreach activities is also something that's expected. And then lastly, assisting with the preparation and delivery of the annual report to the Board of Supervisors in coordination with the County Administrator's Office, as well as the EEO Program Manager. So that's kind of an overview of what we're looking for you all to do in your role as EEOAC members. Additionally, the EEOAC can find information regarding the committees on the EEO, on the county EEO page. We still have a few bios and pictures from members that we are needing so that we can update that. So we will reach out to those individuals who we do not have that information from individually, and then we will update our web site with that information. So before I go any further, do you guys have any questions about what your role as EEOAC members are? Okay. Civil Service Rule 20, another thing that we're looking for is to update that policy. And so we're currently going to be reviewing Civil Service Rule 20, we being the members of the EEO office. And we are going to ensure that any revisions that we make reflect an ongoing compliance of both federal as well as local laws. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the way the rule is written now, and we see some issues that need to be updated, and we're going to make recommendations to update those. Once we do that, they'll go through a meet and confer process with the labor groups, labor unions, and then lastly, it'll be adopted by the Civil Service Commission as well as the County Board of Supervisors. So it's going to take a little bit of time for this to happen. Our goal is to have our revisions done and submitted by the end of this year. So we're really hoping to start off the new year with a revised Rule 20. Not sure how that process will work. I'm not sure if we'll have that done, but that is our goal. Any questions about Rule 20 and any revisions that we're looking to make?
Even though it's the Civil Service Commission that adopts any revisions to this rule, because it is EEO related, we are also happy to share with the committee if there are some revisions that are being proposed, that we share those revisions before anything's finalized.
Yes. Yes, we'll definitely share those with you before we finalize it. All right, update on training programs. And I know this is another issue that you had asked about, Dominic. And these are for EEO coordinators. So in your handouts, you'll have a copy of the Department EEO Coordinators Civil Service Rule 20 complaint process. And this is what we're using as far as our training of EEO coordinators when we bring you on. This is the process that we would like for you to follow in order to make certain that we are in compliance with all laws, as well as so that we're able to work in conjunction with you if in fact you're unable to resolve those complaints. We want to make sure that we've gone through the process correctly, so we need our EEO coordinators to be trained and understand the process. We will be updating this, and we look to provide training sessions in 2026. It's been a couple of years, I think, since we've offered that, just due to workload. We've now, with a fuller staff, we've been able to get that under control now. We believe we'll be able to offer these trainings in 2026. So you've got that in front of you. If you have comments about anything that you see in there, please bring that to our attention before the end of the year. Because again, we're looking to roll this out in 2026. Make sure I haven't missed anything else. And, we'll bring this to each of the meetings to let you guys know, what kind of updates that we're making. And so you'll see the updated version. If in fact we do make any updates, you'll get those along the way. All right.
Will it be an in-person training for the EEO coordinators?
It's either in person or virtual. I'm going to defer to Constance only because she's been the one that's provided that training in the past. So I want to make sure that she's.
Recommend that it be in person, especially for new EEO coordinators.
Yes.
They have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I don't think you get the same effect in training on a virtual.
On virtual.
You would in person.
Okay.
And I would like to see that the forms are more fillable.
Fillable, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
And Constance has done a pretty good training over the years.
Yes.
But I know a lot of things have went to virtual training, so that would
Okay.
just be my suggestion.
No, it's definitely heard and duly noted. We will do our best to provide that. I mean, I think that's our goal. And I know Constance does a great job, so hopefully she can train us so we can take some of that burden off of her. And we'll all be training in person, so that is our goal. So thank you for that comment.
Is it possible for any of the committee to sit in on some of that training to get a better idea of what's going on?
Certainly.
If the committee likes, once the training materials are refreshed, if you would like the EEO office to come in and kind of do a mock training with you. I don't know how long this training normally is, but if it's, we can have it be almost like a presentation, but kind of they'll have a trainer come up and go through the whole training.
Yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, and we can do that in person or virtual, whichever is best for you guys' schedule, so just let us know. We'll let you know when we have it revised, and we'll take it from there. If you have the desire to be trained, we'll be more than happy to train you.
Mr. Davis, do you know how long the training takes?
I don't,
How
but
many
Constance
hours?
does, so
Okay.
I'll defer
The
to her.
training takes approximately 3 hours.
Okay. Thank you.
And I imagine it might be a little bit longer with questions asked, so just plan maybe for 4 hours.
Yeah, and just a thought for consideration, I mean, in the alternative too, if you tape record a training session,
Yeah,
maybe that could be made available. That way members can use their own time to go through it.
I'm all for it.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just wanted to really quickly, this is Oriana Mahoney, Staff Development Coordinator. So typically what would happen is these trainings would be conducted several times per year. The goal is that these trainings are conducted in person several times a year, lasting about 3 hours. There will also be recordings done of the trainings, so anybody that comes in between when a new in-person training happens, they can watch those videos, or if somebody needs a refresher, they can go back and watch the videos. I also want to set expectation that the committee wouldn't necessarily, this committee wouldn't necessarily go through one of those trainings with our staff, because you guys aren't necessarily staff, and so your role is oversight. That would kind of be overstepping that. But what can be done in one of these meetings, in one of the EEOAC meetings, we can give you some highlights of those trainings. Some of the bullet points, things that we talk about, maybe even just some context or feedback from coordinators that have taken the training. Something along those lines is what would be happening on the report out of those trainings once we revamp and re-implement those. Those were something that were done more often some time ago. Like we've said in past meetings, the staff for EEO was very light in that it was just constants for some time. We've, over the last year, hired full staff now, so we're trying to get back on board with that. So this is one of the areas that the EEO office intends to sort of dial up with some of these trainings, but they will be offered probably on like a quarterly or so basis, so just a few times a year for in-person, but the videos would be available for anybody to be able to go in, like I said, or just watch them as refreshers, because most people might get the training and then maybe this doesn't even affect them for 2 years later, and so the training will constantly be updated to address the most recent laws or regulations surrounding that, so it's something that would be sort of a working training as well that's live and constantly updated based on laws and regulations.
Any other questions? No? All right, next topic is the employee resource groups. That's again something that we've had in our EEO plan that we would be working on. And if you remember from last meeting, Mikhail, who's our newest member to the EEO staff, he's been assigned to work on these, and so he's going to give you a little brief update later on in the meeting today, but I just wanted to kind of highlight that he is working on that. So if you have any questions about ERGs, employee resource groups, you can direct them straight to Michael or myself. All right, any questions about employee resource groups?
I don't for that, but can I just go back to the prior item with the EEO coordinator training?
Yes.
As a coordinator, I know I've provided created my own way of providing detailed information about my interviews or conversations in the informal process. I would recommend that something be generated for all staff to use to make it consistent, because I'm sure I'm probably over the top, but that's for lack of really having a guide on what information to share and what specifically your office needs to know. So I just want to suggest
It's more
that.
like a universal form?
Yep.
Okay, all right. We can do that. Thank you. Okay, next topic is the EEO, 25th Annual EEO Diversity Luncheon. So we've reached the silver anniversary. The date for this year's luncheon will be Thursday, October 23rd. Time will be noon to 1:30. Location will be the San Joaquin County Agricultural Center out near the airport. And just for you, or those of you who are not familiar with the event, I'll just give you a little background on it. This is a county employee event. It's open to all employees. The purpose of the event is it's a special occasion to celebrate the dedicated efforts of staff who have worked tirelessly to promote inclusion and diversity within Sacramento County. It is also a moment for us to honor those who have gone above and beyond to cultivate a culture here at the county of belonging for all employees as well as community members. So it's a fun opportunity for us to celebrate the efforts of diversity within the county. It's It's a catered event. We have raffles for different baskets that each department provides. So there's usually like a theme to the basket, so it's a lot of fun for that. And then lastly, we have a keynote speaker. So we're still working on obviously indicating who that will be, but just that kind of gives you an overview of how the event flows. Any questions about the luncheon?
As far as the keynote speaker, can we nominate or suggest somebody?
Definitely.
In Tracy, there's a gentleman who runs Jay's Gourmet. It's a catering service. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Yeah,
He's also known as the Raider Dad. He donates to children
out.
at the games and things like that. He's a really nice guy also.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dominic, did you say he donates to
One more time?
You said he donates?
Yeah,
to
he
some-
donates a lot. He's
Who
really
did you say
prolific in doing his things. He does a lot of stuff. I can't even begin to name everything he's done. I happen to know him personally.
Yeah.
I met him through the city, and I would just, if you want to look at him, I've
Definitely.
spoken with him.
Yes.
And he said that if you would be okay, he could be a keynote speaker and the caterer.
Okay.
Killing both those birds with one stone. He's a black gentleman. He came up from nothing.
Yeah.
And basically has made this business, and he's doing phenomenal. I think he would make an excellent keynote speaker to speak to underserved and those kinds of things.
Definitely.
As well as he's a phenomenal cook too.
Yes.
So thank you for that, Chair Biles. If you can send an email, just kind of like with a quick bio, the name and contact information. We are going to take all the suggestions for the keynote, so we'll definitely put that one in as well to take to our county administrator for a review. And then once a keynote speaker is selected, then we will absolutely circle back. And that's for any committee member who may have other potential options as well. But thank you for that, because I just want to make sure we get his information.
Yeah,
so
I'll
we'll
get
have
I'll
that.
get a quick bio together tonight,
Okay.
tomorrow, and get it
Perfect.
out to you ASAP. Whom should I send it to?
Please send it to Tyler.
Tyler.
I'll also follow up with you
Okay.
tomorrow morning about it. I'm putting that in the minutes.
Excellent. Thank you, Tyler.
You can CC me too. And I know you've sent us some information about his business already, so we took a look at that. So we definitely have him on the list.
I have a question. Is the keynote speaker a volunteer
Yeah.
opportunity? Okay,
Yes.
unfunded. Okay.
And typically, and the Ag Center, I know you're familiar with the Ag Center, but for our new community members, we do have audio-visual capabilities. So if a keynote speaker has anything that we need to either have up, like a PowerPoint or some type of mechanism to play a video, we'll have those capabilities as well. And typically, the keynote, I think it's 15 to 20 minutes during the luncheon?
yes.
Yeah.
And a lunch.
And that really, sorry, it's really opening the floor to anybody in this. If you have somebody that you feel would be a strong keynote speaker, send that information over. This does go through several different channels before a decision is made. So it does have to be approved at several levels before the decision is made on who the keynote speaker is. But we absolutely want people to participate in this and feel like you all are putting forward information that's going to be utilized at this event. So absolutely anybody who has, whether it's a recommendation for keynote speaker or connections with food services, something like that, that would be fantastic. But getting those over to Tyler, and that's just opening it up to all the committee members who have some ideas in mind. A brief little description and bio on that person is preferred so that there's some context around that individual that you're recommending, because we will need to be able to make that decision based on a short biography of that individual that you're recommending.
Yeah, and just to make sure you have the date and time right, again, that's Thursday, October 23rd, from noon to 1:30 at the Ag Center. Agriculture
David,
Center.
do you mind if I ask a question real quick? I wanted to say, since we're taking suggestions for a keynote speaker and caterer, is there a specific date we should have in mind, maybe to have those ready? That way we have everything ready to present to the county administrator?
I would say no later than August 27th, if possible.
Yeah.
Gives us the month of September to make sure we can get all the approvals we need and give the keynote plenty of time to prep before the luncheon.
And then another aspect of the luncheon is we give out diversity awards. So, because the next meeting is October 1st and the deadline for nominations is September 26th, we will be sending you all an email. So it'll have the names of the nominees so that you can cast your vote for the winners too. And it'll give like a little description of what they've done during the year. So we'll allow you guys to give your input as to who you feel deserves the award. So you'll be getting that. Go ahead.
Yes, and just to be clear, the nominations are submitted by county departments or county employees about other county departments and county employees. So typically we have like usually a diversity award winner for department, sometimes department or unit within a department, a county employee, and EEO coordinator of the year. So so when we send the information to you electronically, it will already have the nominations that have been submitted by the county departments, and then you will vote on those based on the bios that are submitted. And then once we have those results, we will then report out who will be receiving the awards. We like to have that time to be able to prepare plaques for them, so get that at the luncheon.
Any questions? Okay. Last of my updates is just the Brown Act training. I think you all got this in your handouts. We would love for you to sign up for this. The first one coming up is, I think it's next Friday? Yeah, I think next Friday, August 15th. But on here, it has a list of 4 different classes. You've only got to take one of them, so you don't have to sign up for multiple ones. And then the registration QR code is at the bottom, so you can just use your phone or mobile device to
How
register
often
for
should
that.
we be receiving this training?
I'm sorry?
How often should we be receiving this training?
That's a good question. I don't know how often this particular training is offered, but.
So this training is offered several times a year. It's required for you to take it just once in your tenure. So you can refresh and renew it. Honestly, it's probably best to renew it every year. Personally, I just feel like new laws, new things come about, and it allows for that. But as long as you've taken it once, you don't need to retake it. I would also strongly encourage you guys to take one of the next 2 if your schedule permits, because both of those happen before our next meeting, October 1st. So you'll be able to sort of real time notice some of the things that we do and how we operate this meeting, so that it allows you to use that hands-on real time right after you've received the training just a short time ago. So I would just encourage you guys to take it over the next one in the next 2 if you haven't taken any. If you haven't taken any, try and get one of the next 4 coming up. But if you've already taken it, you don't have to retake it again. We just encourage for refreshing and renewing the information.
In the appointment letter we received, it said you can't participate until you have taken that training, so this is kind of old news, sorry.
I'm sorry, what was that again? Michael, I apologize.
In the appointment letters we received, it said you can't participate in the committee until you've taken that class. So if the urgency hasn't come down to staff, it was definitely emphasized in the appointment letter.
I think unfortunately there was no other training available at that time, but now that we've gotten word that this one is out, we're definitely encouraging you to sign up for one of these. But yeah, you're right.
And by encourage, it means required, so please, everybody take it.
Yes. All right, that's the report that I have for this meeting. If there's any questions you have, be more than happy to answer. Yes.
It is only for committee members, correct.
Did that answer your question? Okay. All right. All right.
Can I just ask, is it possible to receive a written report? Like, all of the information you shared was really great, but I'm like killing my hand to write down the important information. So I think it would be great, maybe.
I'll definitely send it out.
It should show up in the minutes for next meeting. So everything that he reported out on today should show up in next meeting's minutes.
I agree, though. I'd like to have it written too.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, it kind of gets us thinking about what you're going to talk about, and we can prepare any questions, follow up in advance.
Yeah, no,
Thank
we'll do
you.
that.
Thank you.
All right.
So can I add on diversity luncheon, the subcommittee? So I know we have, Chair Biles, you had reached out about a subcommittee. And so typically we can't have more than a quorum on the subcommittees from the EEOAC. So typically we try to make most of that subcommittee be EEO coordinators. So I had you down as volunteering before, like back in April, and I just wanted, you know, if you wanted to, you know, ask if there's one other fellow committee member that would like to participate with you on that subcommittee. You will mostly be responsible for just the theme, which I'm just going to say is going to be great since it's 25 years, and it is also the county's 175th. I think we could, you know, probably do something with both in regards to that. We also have 2 EEO coordinators when we reached out for interest that said that they would like to be part of the subcommittee. So you'd be up to 4, and then we're going to assign a EEO staff member since our office helps coordinate money for the event. And so that'd be a total of 5. So I would just recommend if you wanted to pose to your committee members, if there's, you know, one more committee member that would like to participate on that subcommittee.
Other than myself, you mean?
Other
yes?
than yourself, yes.
Okay, yeah. Is there someone else on the committee that would like to be a part of that subcommittee? Yeah? All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Who's the volunteer? I do apologize, I'm typing minutes. Thank you very much.
Alwyn Brown. Thanks, Tyler.
Okay, I think that pretty much covers what we have under old business, which was to take the action of creating the subcommittee. I think we have that now. And I don't know, Dominic, have we shared with you the EEO coordinators that signed up?
No, I haven't
Okay.
seen that.
Okay, we have those names. We'll share those with you.
Looks like Tyler's on it.
So that, and then just to let you know, from our office, Michael is going to be representing the EEO office. Mm-hmm. All right. At this point, we will jump to new business, unless there's any other questions about the subcommittee. All right. And then you'll coordinate with them the meetings that you'll have to discuss the theme and all that?
Yeah,
Okay.
when Tyler gets me a list, I'll
Okay.
coordinate and get everybody together, and we
Great.
can have a chat then.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
All right. So I'm going to pass the mic to Mr. Michael, and he's going to give you an update on his employee resource group.
All right, hello, this is Mikkel Mitchell, EEO Analyst 2 with the EEO office. I know last time we talked a little bit about the employee resource groups, but we thought it would be important for me to give a little bit more thorough of an overview of what the employee resource groups are, what the benefits are for San Joaquin County, and how we plan to address some of the concerns that were raised at the last meeting. So what are employee resource groups? So employee resource groups are voluntary employee-led groups that are based on shared identities, interests, or experiences. They focus on inclusion, community, and professional growth. Examples of employee resource groups can be veterans groups, LGBTQ+ groups, women groups, BIPOC groups, employees with disabilities, working parents. So basically, there are any groups that people feel like they can benefit from some sort of community or safe space for. And it's important to note that ERGs are open to all county employees. So let's say just because somebody maybe doesn't identify with a certain group, that doesn't mean that they can't be a part. So they're not exclusive at all. Nobody can be, denied to join just because they're not a part of that sort of certain identity group. And so what the employee resource groups usually do is that they may put on events, outings, they may have lunch and learns, or there's observance days. I know for August is Black Business Month, so maybe like, an African American or Black American group would put on some sort of lunch and learn or event for Black Business Month, things like that. And how we plan for the groups to be formed is usually an employee who has an interest in a certain group will reach out to the EEO office. We would set up a meeting with them, hear their concerns, hear what sort of event they want to put on. We would see if it's work appropriate, and see what sort of options they want to organize their group. We can do things like a Teams chat where everybody in the group can have access to the Teams chat and they can answer any questions or plan any groups or, just kind of talk and share and, converse and talk about current topics or current, things that affect them in their groups. And also come up with some ideas for things that they may want to do. If there's any sort of events that they want to put on, any sort of lunches, any sort of observance days that they want to observe. So the purpose of ERGs is promote inclusion, diversity. They also provide safe spaces and support, and they help with retention, engagement, and cultural awareness. So the benefits for San Joaquin County is that it will increase retention, it'll increase morale. When people feel better, they tend to do better. And so we want our employees to feel supported and like they have community at San Joaquin County. And some of the concerns that were raised last time is that not everybody has access to email. And so what we thought about doing was really keying in with our EEO coordinators to say, hey, if there are employee resource groups that have just been formed, making sure that the EEO coordinators have a list of the resource groups and ensure that the employees who don't have access to email, that there will be flyers maybe put up in break rooms or lunch rooms or any sort of high traffic areas. And also making sure that we are using our department heads and our department leaders, if they have any meetings or if they, talk with their employees on a regular basis, that they can make sure that they let those employees know that these resource groups are available to them. Also because some of these groups, just depending, people may want to take an hour out of their day to join a lunch and learn on Teams or to go to an event or go to lunch. And so making sure that the teams know that these are available. It's also important to note that we are not the holders of the group as the EEO office. We're sort of just the point of contact for support. These are completely employee-led groups, right? So whoever would have an idea of a group that they want to form, they would come to us and they would be the facilitator, right, of their group. So we don't tell people how many events they should do, how many lunches they should have. We're really just here to say, hey, this is a group that you want to have. We support it. We back it. You take it. You run with it. If you need support, come to us. We don't want this to be a workload on us or our coordinators. We sort of just want this to be, a net benefit for people at the county to feel like they have some support, and some common interests and some common interests with people that they work with, right? So, yeah, that's usually that's about it. If there's any questions, I can answer questions.
Yeah, just an example of the kinds of county resources that will be available for one of these ERGs that is sort of legitimized.
So, like, what do you mean?
Like access to work email, any funds for like luncheons or things like that.
Right. So that will be something that has to be talked about more in detail about what sort of resources are available. I know there's rooms in this building that could potentially be booked if people want to, come together, have a lunch and learn. There's also teams meetings that can be done where if things can, people want to put on an event virtually and have like a lunch and learn or sort of an observance day. As far as what sort of resources are actually available, if there's like a funds for that, that'll be something I'll have to look into a little bit more deeply.
Okay. Yep. Thanks.
Are these activities things that employees can do on county time, or are they expected to do this during their lunch or after hours, before hours?
So it depends. Historically, how I know is that if people want to do, like I said, a lunch and learn, that would take place on their lunch. It's usually about an hour. If they do want to have events that are during county time, it's something that they would have to get approval for. And these groups, because they are, county, they would be official groups. They do have to be work appropriate, like any of the the conduct, the content has to be work appropriate. So I would have to check and see if these are things that can happen during county time, but obviously it definitely would depend on their department head or their managers if they want to allow people to have time to do, events that take place. Any more questions? All right, so I believe next we have the committee member remote attendance, and that is with Rachel Novetsky.
Hello. A few times at these meetings, some questions have come up in regards to remote attendance of committee members and how that pertains to the Brown Act, since this is a Brown Act committee. And so I did some research and wanted to share for the committee. In 2022, amendments to the Brown Act did allow for members of our EOAC committee meetings or any Brown Act meeting to attend 2 meetings a year remotely via teleconference, so long as the quorum of the body participates from a single location in public. So essentially, if a quorum body was here, then you could attend up to 2 times a year remotely. There are some stipulations in regards to attending remotely. So our committee does have the audiovisual capability, the equipment necessary to facilitate real-time two-way video and audio. So essentially, if a committee member attended remotely, you would have to have camera capability so that we can physically see you, you can physically see us, and obviously audio, we need to be able to hear you, you need to be able to hear us. We have the equipment for that, so really it would just be confirming with the remote attendee that they have that capabilities on their end. And remote participants must disclose the identity of any adults or members or present at the remote location with them and what their business or relationship is with the committee member. And then so the public must also be able to participate via call-in or internet-based services options. We do that now, so that's already something that we meet. Any non-disabled member must notify the county as soon as we can, so that that our chair can announce that at the beginning of the meeting that you're participating remotely. And if it's for just cause is as outlined as far as what that criteria is in the Brown Act. And so the individual attending remotely must provide an explanation establishing as to what the just cause is. So again, this is just an option that can only be used twice per calendar year. Additionally, for non-disabled reasons, a member can notify the body of the committee of an event of an emergency. So something last minute, weren't expecting, can contact our office to find out if there's a way to attend because they had an emergency come up. Do not have to reveal any emergent information that may be a result of medical related reasons. We'd like the members to make the request as soon as possible, and that would be announced at the beginning of the meeting again. Okay. In 2024, the Attorney General's Office, California Attorney General Office, issued an opinion letter in regards to any remote qualifications under ADA, so Americans with Disabilities Act. And so essentially what they found was under ADA, there is already reasonable accommodation requirements that are covered under that. And so the opinion letter addressed the fact that this should be incorporated into Brown Act meetings. And so the Attorney General found that the duty for reasonable accommodation is subject to Brown Act requirements. Remote participation can be conducted as a reasonable accommodation. They still have to meet those requirements I spoke about in regards to having two-way communication. So they have to have video, audio, and they have to announce if there is anybody else in the room with them and what the nature of their relationship is. The difference is that if it is accommodation under ADA, the disabled person does not have to advertise their location if the quorum of the body is participating here locally. So normally when there's a remote participation of a Brown Act meeting and we know well enough in advance, we have to actually post in which you will be remote so that the public can also go to that remote location. But under ADA, if it's for ADA accommodation, that is not something that has to be done. Any questions on anything I said? And again, this will also be something we can share with the committee members. Since your committee does fall under Brown Act, yes.
The remote accommodation is all dependent on the quorum body being here, yes?
Correct.
So if the quorum isn't here, then it doesn't occur?
Correct. When it's for non-ADA reasons, yes.
Okay, so for an ADA reason,
Then
would that satisfy quorum if
yes.
4 were here and the 5th was
Yes.
remote?
Yes.
That would qualify under ADA? Okay, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. So the person who's remote that's non-ADA, are they able to participate in votes, et cetera?
Yes, as long as the quorum votes or number is here, then yes, they still can participate in a vote count.
I now understand why I had a line in my notes. I was supposed to wait to talk about the Brown Act training, so I got a little anxious, I guess, there and jumped the gun. So my portion, again, is just to go over, we would really expect that you all would sign up for one of these trainings. And as Oriana mentioned, the first two are before October 1st, so we would love for you to sign up for one of those. I'm assuming there's not any questions, so I'll end my report at that.
I do have a question about the emergency participation. I'm imagining that that's something that the emergency arises after the agenda is published and the address can't be posted. So does that individual still have voting rights if there's a quorum?
Yes, we just have to announce it ahead of like in the very beginning of the meeting, the chair would have to announce the remote attendance.
Okay.
Due to emergency reasons.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Now we'd like to open up general comments from committee members at this time. Does anybody have any general comments?
I'm a little slow to the game here, but Michael's explanation of the affinity groups that the county has allowed to form, employee resource groups, excuse me, different name. If there isn't budget for supporting the activities, can we put that on a list of things to follow up on for budgeting time next year or something along those lines?
Yeah, I imagine as this is further discussed and becomes something that's more tangible, we will have to put together some type of administrative procedures guidelines for county departments so that they understand if there is or isn't budget, if it is or isn't county time, some of the questions that came up today. So we can continue to report on that as we pursue this.
We'll answer that in our next meeting, for sure.
And I may have asked this last time when it was brought up originally. What's the ETA on hopefully having this started?
We would like it to be as soon as possible, but as the committee member just brought up, there are some logistical questions that we still have to figure out. Do we have the ability to give people a Teams chat? Do we have the ability to, have people take part in this on county time? Is there a budget for things like this? So there are still some logistical things that are above, my level that we would still need to take into account. So I'm hoping, sooner rather than later, but if not this year, I'll be hoping in the beginning of next year.
I did have a question. Is there a possibility of obtaining a small budget so that the committee members can all maybe go out for a cup of coffee and kind of get to know each other so we understand who's on the playing field here and who we are amongst ourselves?
Unfortunately, because this is a Brown Act committee, I can't actually have everybody meet together. It could violate the Brown Act, so I want to make sure I keep y'all.
That is absolutely a
Yes,
great point I
yes.
hadn't thought of. Thank you.
Yes. So the Brown Act requires that anything that happens between all quorum committee members is something that happens in the open public session. So his question was, is there ability to have a budget so that you could all meet outside of this process, to get to know each other and such? But I kind of want to ensure that we're staying in line with Brown Act because, potentially some things that maybe haven't been agendized or may be agendized in the future could come up as a topic of discussion. And that cannot happen. It's a violation of that act, so.
Further questioning that, doing something social on the agenda is something we do at the Health Commission. We have dinner. There's an opportunity to eat just before the meeting or as part of the meeting. They have a budget for it, so all I can say is that it does happen.
And we do have the end of the year, Chair Biles, you may know that, and some of our EEO coordinators know we have that end of the year holiday luncheon, or I guess open house, where we have all the EEO coordinators and EEO committee members come together, and county departments can actually come in, and it's something that your committee sponsors. So that can also be something where maybe we tie it all together with that, so that we have that opportunity to have that, because that's a formal event that's, discussed and talked about in this meeting that we put on.
Can I take a second to just have our staff introduce ourselves to you all? We'll start with Rex. Well, we've all been here, for an hour now, and I don't know if you know who all of us are, so I'd like for us to introduce ourselves.
No, because I have a different title. While I'm with the EEO, but my title is different. I'm a workplace investigator, as opposed to my two colleagues here, they're EEO analysts. So anyway, my name is Rex Frigay. I joined the Human Resources close to 2 years ago. I previously came from the County of Santa Clara as a whistleblower investigator. I've been an investigator for a very long time, starting with my career in New York City Department of Investigation, which is an law enforcement and oversight office. Moving here to California, finding a spot here in this county and working with human resources was, it's one of the best decisions I made, and I'm happy and I'm glad being part of this team. We are making a difference in this team and continue doing so. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Constance Bibbs, and I am an EEO analyst in the HR department. I've been in the HR department for quite some time. Been working in EEO for, I believe, at least 10 years, and I love my job. I have a passion for all things EEO, and I conduct a lot of investigations, and I also do a lot of the training here at the county. And I've always enjoyed working with the EEOAC, and that's about it. Thank you.
My name is Mikkel Mitchell. I'm an EEO analyst too, but usually I say I'm an EEO investigator. That's more so what I do on a day-to-day basis. I've been here since January. Before I came here, I was working for the California Energy Commission as an EEO investigator, and before that, I was working for CAL FIRE and DEI and EEO. And before then, I had various positions with the state working in budgets and finance. I was also a culture and language assistant teacher in Madrid, Spain, where I did that for about 6 months. And before that, I was working for the federal government in DC on trade missions. But for all my different titles, just much like Rex, it's probably the best decision that I've made. County truly has been the best, and I don't just say that because I'm talking to you all. It really has been the best decision. So happy to be here.
And my name is David Davis. I'm the EEO manager. I've been here for just over a year. I've been in EEO capacities for a majority of my career, more than 20 years now. Spent majority of my time with SMUD in Sacramento, the electrical company. I just wanted to, take this time to really introduce who we were to you. We're forming a group, like Rex said. We're coming together each day, getting stronger and stronger. We have a lot of great talents on this team, and so I'm trying to make sure that we're utilizing those talents in the best way possible. So we're going to only get better as a group. And I really wanted to say it's been a pleasure to work with you all during this past year. I know we got off to a little rocky start when I started here, but we've now got a new group together. You guys have been phenomenal, and I'm really looking forward to working with you going forward.
Hi, everyone. Hi, fellow EEOAC members. I'm sure you talked to me before. My name is Tyler. I've been with the county for 4 years. I was with the San Joaquin County Public Defender's Office as a legal technician for 3 years before I decided to make my transition to human resources. And that to me has been one of the biggest blessings of my life because it's been an area that I've wanted to study and learn for a very long time. I've gotten the wonderful ability to be a specialist for EEO, and not only EEO, but also labor relations. So I've had the privilege of being the specialist for about a year now. August 12th will be my 1 year with the Human Resources Department. So it has been a great pleasure, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with each and every single one of you.
Thank you for that. Do you want to say anything, Rachel?
I'm Rachel Novetsky, Assistant Director of Human Resources. I sit on this committee as an advisor in the event that there are questions related to human resources or maybe touch on EEO, but maybe also bleed into Civil Service Commission. I was able to answer a couple of those questions today. In general, overall HR processes. I have been with the county way too long, since 2001. And I've been with HR since 2007. It's been a wonderful experience. I've had a lot of exposure. When I was early on in my career, when I worked for a county department, I was an EEO coordinator. And so this program means a lot to me, and I'm very excited to see our staffing what it is today so that we can really get this program back to being the robust program I know it can be. And I'm very happy to have a committee that is so engaged in the process and really wanting to, provide support, feedback on how we can only make our EEO program stronger. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. At this moment, I'd like to remind everybody our next meeting is October 1st in this building, in this room. And having said that, move to adjourn. Second? After a second, motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you to our